Chosen ones, they're all wondering who you are and what you did. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to shine brighter than others, drawing all eyes and leaving others in awe? As Rumi wisely said, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" Today, we're diving into why you're one of the chosen ones. The ones people can't stop talking about. The ones they're dying to understand. There's something about you that's magnetic, and it's time to embrace it. This isn't just about admiration. This is about stepping into your true power for personal growth and lasting happiness. What do you think sets you apart from the crowd? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's unlock the secrets of your extraordinary journey together. Legends aren't born, they're revealed in silence. The world rarely sees them coming, and when they do, they enter with such quiet power that they leave everyone wondering, who is this person? What makes them different? The most intriguing figures in history, the ones whose influence echoes through time, were never the loudest voices in the room. They didn't demand attention, they simply commanded it with their presence. And that's you, chosen ones. Every time you step into a space, people can't help but stare, whispering, who are they? What have they done to make life seem so effortless? The answer is simple. You have tapped into a level of spiritual strength that few can understand. It's not about being the loudest or the flashiest. It's about mastering the art of subtlety, of carrying an aura that makes people stop and think. This mysterious energy isn't something that can be faked. It's something that flows naturally when you're in tune with your deeper self. The spiritual power of mystery is what sets you apart. Psychological studies reveal that mystery is one of the most magnetic forces that draw people in. Humans are hardwired to seek answers, and when they encounter something they can't easily explain, it triggers an intense desire to know more. People don't just want to understand you, they want to be you. They can feel that you've mastered something they haven't, and that drives them crazy. When you hold back, when you don't give away every detail of who you are, you trigger a longing in others to uncover the secrets that lie beneath the surface. The world is obsessed with the unknown, and you embody it. But this isn't just about playing games or being elusive. It's about maintaining a level of spiritual composure, where you hold your power in such a way that it can't be easily taken from you. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone, because your actions speak louder than words ever could. But those who are drawn to you, those who obsess over you, don't even realize they are witnessing something spiritual. You have something they crave, but it's not just confidence or charm. It's the energy that flows from your being when you align with your true purpose. This alignment makes everything you do appear effortless. It's like a magnetic field, pulling people toward you, making them wonder what it is that makes you so captivating. But this power isn't something you can just switch on. It comes when you understand and embrace your spiritual essence. The moment you let go of the need for external validation and step fully into your own truth, you'll begin to notice that people's fascination with you intensifies. They won't be able to stop thinking about you because you've become a living mystery, a force they can't quite figure out. If you resonate with the quiet power and charismatic presence we talked about today, comment below, "I embrace the mystery within." Step into your power confidently, knowing that you don't have to shout to be heard. Your presence disrupts their narratives. When you step into a room, it's not just your words or actions that shake things up. It's the energy you carry, the spiritual essence you radiate, that effortlessly challenges everything they've come to know and rely on. The world they've created in their minds, the neat little stories they've woven around their lives to create a sense of predictability, control, and safety. All of that crumbles when you show up. You see, they've built their own rules to navigate life rules that help them make sense of things, that help them feel grounded and in charge. But you You don't fit into those preordained categories. And that makes them uncomfortable. They're used to a certain rhythm. Leaders, followers, the ones who crave attention, and the ones who shy away. But then there's you. You don't play by their rules. Your presence disrupts their established order because while they may expect certain dynamics to unfold, you're operating on an entirely different level, one they don't fully understand. It's not about competing for control. You don't need to chase power because, without effort, it finds you. You don't seek validation, yet without trying, you command the room. There's a magnetism to you that they can't explain, and the more they try to figure it out, the more confused they become. They wonder, do you even notice the effect you have? In truth, you probably don't. You've spent years honing your ability to read energy, the subtle shifts that happen when you walk into a space. You can feel the room change around you, almost as if time pauses for a moment. But here's the key. You've mastered the art of letting it all unfold naturally. You don't force it, nor do you need to. Your presence alone carries a spiritual weight that they can't deny. They wonder what it is that makes you different. But the answer is simple. You've stopped trying to fit into their boxes. You've stopped playing by their rules. You've transcended the need to seek approval, and in doing so, you've unlocked a kind of power they can't even comprehend. This is the magic of being chosen. It's not about being the loudest or the most dominant. It's about being grounded in who you are. You've reached a place of peace within yourself where you no longer seek the validation of others. You don't need to prove your worth because you already know it. And this quiet confidence, this spiritual essence, throws their whole narrative out of balance. The reason they are drawn to you is not because you're trying to outshine them, but because you are simply being authentically, powerfully, and effortlessly. The more they try to fit you into their world, the more they realize they can't. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole it's not meant to fit. Your energy challenges the very comfort zones of those around you, often in ways they don't fully understand. You are different not in a superficial way, but in the deepest sense. While most people go through life seeking stability, comfort, and predictability, you're a force of change, an embodiment of calm confidence that disrupts everything they thought they knew. Without trying, you shake the very foundation of their reality, forcing them to confront their own limitations. It's not that you set out to unsettle anyone, but simply by existing, you create a space where they are faced with their own doubts and insecurities. The way you carry yourself, so completely unbothered by societal expectations, reveals just how little most people are willing to be themselves. You're not interested in blending in. You've chosen the path of authenticity, and that alone is a challenge to the conformist life most people have settled into. You live as though you are free from the need for approval, free from the shackles of self-doubt, and that freedom is magnetic, even if it makes them uncomfortable. They find themselves inexplicably drawn to you, yet at the same time, they're unsettled by your very presence. It's as if your energy reflects back to them the parts of themselves they've ignored or hidden away, their insecurities, their unfulfilled dreams, the aspects of their character they wish they could change but are too afraid to confront. It's not intentional. It's simply the effect of being in your presence. You mirror to them their own potential, the parts of themselves they long to realize, but which they have been too afraid to pursue. This is the power of spiritual growth. It's not just about changing your life. It's about the ripple effect your growth has on others. You don't need to say a word to make people question their own existence. Your energy, your calm and unwavering confidence, silently challenges them to look within, to question the reality they've built for themselves, and to wonder why they have been settling for less than what they deserve. The more you step into your power, the more they are forced to ask themselves hard questions. Why am I not living to my full potential? Why do I continue to hide behind comfort and predictability? And yet, it is not just the uncomfortable ones who are affected. There are those who will be inspired by your example, those who see in you a reflection of what is possible. To them, you are a beacon of hope, a reminder that growth is possible, that transformation is real. They see you living proof that it's possible to break free from the constraints of fear and doubt and live a life that is true to yourself. To them, you are not a threat, but a guide, a reminder of the spiritual growth they can also achieve. Your presence alone is a testament to the power of authenticity and spiritual growth. You do not need to chase attention or force anyone to change. The way you carry yourself, your unwavering confidence, and your refusal to settle for anything less than your best, speaks volumes. You are a living example that challenges those around you to rise up and become the best versions of themselves, whether they are ready for it or not. If you find it relevant, please like and share with others. Your support helps us continue to create challenging and uplifting content that empowers you to push yourself beyond your comfort zone every day. They are constantly trying to figure you out, to understand the secret behind your strength, but they can't. You have something they don't, something that's drawing them to you, yet they can't quite grasp it. What truly perplexes them is your complete indifference to their opinions. People are used to seeking approval, to chasing after validation, and constantly molding themselves based on what others think. But not you. You don't need anyone's approval to feel good about who you are. Their judgments, their praise, or even their criticisms, none of it affects you. You've built a life that is immune to the fleeting highs and lows that come from external validation. You've tapped into something deeper, the unwavering confidence that comes from knowing who you are at your core. This confidence doesn't fluctuate with the opinions of others because it's not built on their approval. You've freed yourself from the exhausting cycle of needing others to confirm your worth. This clarity, this peace, is what makes you so magnetic, and it's driving them crazy. They can't understand how you can be so unaffected by their opinions. They expect everyone to fit into the same mold, to seek validation and approval from the world around them. But you've completely detached yourself from that narrative. While they're desperately trying to maintain control over how they're perceived, you've embraced a new kind of freedom. You've chosen to break free from the need for external validation, and in doing so, you've found your true power. It's not arrogance, it's simply understanding that your worth is not up for negotiation. Their judgments, whether positive or negative, don't define you. The way they see you doesn't matter. What matters is how you see yourself. You've become an enigma to them, someone who cannot be swayed or controlled, and that's why they are so obsessed with figuring you out. In their eyes, you are different. Your clarity and self-assurance leave them in awe and confusion. They keep wondering how you can stand so tall, so unshaken, in a world that's obsessed with external opinions. What they don't realize is that you've learned something they haven't. True power comes from within. You're not caught up in their game of validation. You're free from their expectations, and that freedom is what makes you irresistible. Your silence is more powerful than their noise. While most people rush to fill every moment with chatter, over-explaining, or desperate attempts to be heard, you remain calm, composed, and deliberate with your words. When you speak, it's measured and purposeful, yet it cuts straight to the core. This silence isn't mere absence of sound. It's a commanding force that unsettles those around you. They can't figure you out, and that's what drives them crazy. In a world full of distractions and constant validation seeking, your ability to remain silent makes you an enigma. They expect you to react, to give them something to hold on to, but you refuse to play their game. Instead, you stand your ground, your demeanor steady and unfazed. Your silence forces them to question themselves. Are you indifferent, judging, or simply too wise to waste words? That uncertainty gnaws at them, and that in itself is a kind of power. You don't need to explain your every move or justify your existence. The value of your silence lies in the fact that it invites introspection. Most people can't handle the discomfort of not knowing what's happening in someone else's mind. They can't deal with the fact that you remain unfazed by their attempts to draw you in. This kind of spiritual strength is rare. It's not about withholding information. It's about preserving your energy for things that truly matter. Your words carry weight, and you understand that not every situation requires a response. The more you hold back, the more they seek to understand you. The more they try to decipher your every gesture, your every expression. And in the end, they realize that they can't control or predict you. This is the power of a man who is in tune with his spiritual self. Your silence is your shield and your sword, cutting through the noise without you ever having to raise your voice. In a world where many are driven by external validation, you stand apart. Your silence reveals a level of self-assurance that others can only envy. You've mastered the art of restraint, knowing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. This ability to remain still and unshaken in the face of external chaos speaks volumes about your inner peace and spiritual clarity. You don't need to explain your worth to anyone. Your presence alone commands respect, and your silence ensures that you maintain control over your narrative. People will wonder, will speculate, but in the end, they'll never truly understand what makes you tick, and that's exactly how you want it. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how you're standing out and capturing everyone's attention. You were chosen for greatness. Let's unlock your full potential together. They can't help but be drawn to you, not because of anything you've said or done, but simply because of the energy you radiate. Your presence alone has the power to shake them, to make them confront everything they've been avoiding about themselves. It's not intentional, and it's not about you pointing out their flaws. You don't even need to speak a word. Your existence is a reflection of their deepest insecurities. The more they observe you, the more they realize that you represent the version of themselves they wish they could become, but haven't yet found the courage to pursue. It's the quiet confidence you carry with you that disturbs them the most. They see how effortlessly you move through life, unburdened by the things that weigh them down. Your authenticity, your independence, and your spiritual growth all serve as reminders of what they've yet to achieve in their own lives. What truly affects them is not just the way you carry yourself, but how you embody the qualities they yearn for, qualities like inner peace, strength, and unshakable confidence. You have mastered the art of standing firm in your truth, and it's this self-assurance that causes them to question why they haven't done the same. You live unapologetically, and this freedom is contagious. It makes them uneasy because they feel exposed, forced to reckon with the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. And yet, all of this happens without you ever intending to make them uncomfortable. You simply exist as you are, unapologetically true to yourself, and in doing so, you make them question their own choices, their own path, and the very foundation of their existence. In moments like these, it's easy to forget how powerful it is to just be yourself. We often chase approval, seek validation, or try to fit into the molds others create for us. But you, without even trying, are a living testament to the power of embracing who you truly are. It's in your presence that they see what they've been missing in their own lives: the courage to grow spiritually, to evolve beyond their insecurities, and to become the best version of themselves. And while they may feel intimidated, deep down, they're also inspired. They may not say it to your face, but they are drawn to you because you embody the very qualities they wish they could have. The courage, the strength, and the grace to move through life with unshakable confidence. You are an enigma, and it's that very mystery about you that captivates everyone around you. You don't fit the typical molds that others expect you to, and that drives them wild with curiosity. People are used to understanding the world in a predictable, controlled way, but you break every expectation existing outside the usual boundaries. It's not that you're trying to be mysterious, it's simply who you are. You don't need to announce your presence or make a scene to capture attention. Your calm demeanor and quiet confidence do it for you. Others look at you and wonder how you manage to stay so composed, so unshaken, while still drawing people in. You're not broadcasting your thoughts or your every move, and that only makes them more intrigued. There's an energy about you that they can't pinpoint, can't label, and certainly can't control. The more they try to understand you, the more you remain an unsolved puzzle. They desperately want to know what makes you tick, what drives you, and how you found such peace in a chaotic world. But the truth is, the power lies in your authenticity. You've gone through your own spiritual awakening, a deep understanding of who you are beyond the superficial, and you've let go of the need for external validation. In a world where so many people are seeking approval, trying to fit in or live up to someone else's expectations, you've chosen a different path. You've become comfortable with being yourself, without needing to explain or defend your choices. This is where your true power lies. You don't need anyone's approval because you've already recognized your worth. Your life doesn't need to be an open book for others to read. What's important is that you're living in alignment with your true self, and that in itself is magnetic. It's this unshakable sense of self that makes people constantly wonder, who are they, and how can I be more like that? But you're not holding on to any secrets or hidden knowledge. Your mystery simply comes from the fact that you've embraced your true essence and stopped pretending to be anything else. As you continue on your journey, you'll find that more and more people will be drawn to your energy, eager to understand the depth you carry with you. They'll try to decode you, but they'll never fully succeed because your essence cannot be contained or defined. You are not here to fit into their boxes or live by their rules. Your purpose is much greater than that. The way you live in such a calm, unapologetic way is a testament to your spiritual growth. Your true power lies in your authenticity and your ability to walk through the world with grace while remaining true to yourself. You've become a beacon for others to see what's possible when you live from a place of inner peace and self-awareness. You don't need anyone to understand you because you understand yourself, and that's all that truly matters. Are you ready to embrace your mysterious allure? If so, comment below, "I embrace my enigma," and take the first step towards owning the captivating energy that makes you unforgettable. Your success appears almost too easy to others, as if everything you touch turns into gold. To the outside world, your achievements seem effortless, and your path appears perfectly aligned with prosperity. But what they don't understand is the hidden effort behind your victories. They can't see the sleepless nights, the endless hours of hard work, the sacrifices, and the moments of doubt you faced alone. To them, your success feels like a mystery, an enigma they can't solve. What truly baffles them is your calm composure. You don't boast about your achievements, you don't seek attention or sympathy for your struggles, and you certainly don't flaunt your wins. You simply keep moving forward with unwavering confidence, accomplishing what others can only dream of. This serene confidence makes it look like the universe has been rigged in your favor, as if you've been handed a secret roadmap while everyone else is still trying to find their way. But the truth is, your success is not the result of luck or favoritism. It's the outcome of your own spiritual awakening, your deep connection with purpose, and your relentless discipline. You've earned everything through hard work, resilience, and the wisdom gained from facing life's challenges. You're not the result of chance. You're the result of constant growth, patience, and alignment with your higher self. While some may resent your effortless success, there's also a deep, unspoken admiration. Your journey inspires them, even if they can't fully comprehend the depth of it. The reason your wins seem so effortless is not because life has been easy, but because you've cultivated a mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities. You've embraced a path of growth and resilience, and in doing so, you've become someone who others can't help but notice, someone they wonder about, admire, and may even envy. There's something magnetic about you that others can't quite put their finger on. It's not just your outer success or the way you carry yourself. It's the fact that you're not bound by the rules that govern most people's lives. While everyone else is caught up in the conventional grind, you walk to the beat of your own drum. And it's exactly this that makes you irresistible. You operate on a different level, one that they can't comprehend, and it drives them crazy trying to figure it out. Your ability to thrive, even in the most challenging situations, leaves them in awe. They can't explain how you do it. Every setback you face only seems to fuel your growth, making you more resilient, more independent, and more powerful. What they don't see is the strength behind your success, your deep spiritual connection to something greater than yourself. This unseen force is what enables you to rise above life's difficulties with such ease and grace. They think you've got some secret formula, but the truth is far simpler. You trust in a higher power, and that faith is your foundation. What really fascinates them is the effortless way you navigate life. While others struggle, you glide through challenges, never losing your cool. They can't understand why you're not weighed down by the same worries that plague them. You've become a force of nature, a person who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Not because of circumstance, but because you've tapped into a deeper well of spiritual energy and confidence. It's like you've stepped into a different dimension where the rules of the world no longer apply. And that's why they're obsessed with you. As much as they try, they'll never quite figure you out. They're too caught up in their own limited perspective to see that your success isn't about trying to play by the rules of the world. It's about tapping into a higher calling, one that guides you to greatness in ways they can only dream of. And that's what makes you stand out, not just in their eyes, but in the world at large. Your life is a reflection of what it looks like when someone truly embraces their spiritual power. You don't need external validation or approval. You don't need to conform to what society says you should be. You've found a path that is uniquely yours, and in doing so, you've unlocked a level of freedom and success that is impossible for others to replicate. That's what keeps them guessing, what keeps them hooked. Because deep down, they wish they could break free from their own limitations and tap into the same spiritual power that you possess. But only a few ever will. And that's what makes you so extraordinary. They can't buy your attention, and that frustrates them the most. People who rely on money, status, flattery, and manipulation are used to getting what they want by appealing to others' weaknesses or desires. They throw their wealth or achievements in front of people, hoping to get admiration or control. But when it comes to you, none of that works. Your attention is not for sale, and that makes you a mystery to them. You're not impressed by surface-level achievements, and you don't fall for their emotional games or subtle tactics. While others may be swayed by guilt trips, jealousy-inducing comments, or attempts to trigger emotional reactions, you remain calm, unaffected, and clear-headed. What they don't understand is that it's not that you're cold or indifferent. You've simply learned to value what's real. You've spent time developing an understanding of yourself, your values, and what truly matters. You've cultivated a sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external validation. Unlike most people, you're not driven by the need to impress or be impressed by others. This comes from a deeper place, what many would call a spiritual awakening. You've tapped into an inner power that allows you to see through the masks people wear, the hidden agendas behind their actions, and the false illusions they try to create. You know that true fulfillment doesn't come from external sources, like money, status, or the approval of others. It comes from within. And that's what drives them crazy. They don't know how to handle someone like you, someone who can't be controlled or influenced by their usual tactics. It's not that they don't try. They will test your boundaries, play on your emotions, and attempt to manipulate your responses. But to you, their tricks fall flat. You've already learned the lesson that what matters most is authenticity, self-respect, and emotional independence. You've realized that true peace comes when you stop chasing validation and start living according to your own standards. This is what makes you different, what makes you stand out, and why they can't understand you. Their frustration is a reflection of your strength. The more they try, the more you remain unaffected, and the more they become curious, desperate to understand what makes you tick. They can't control you, and that drives them crazy. But what they don't realize is that you're not playing their game you've already won, because you've learned that the only person you need to impress is yourself. As you can see, the world is watching and wondering what makes you so special. You've been chosen, and your light is undeniable. They can't help but be drawn to you, curious about what you did to reach this level of greatness. Remember, your journey is unique, and your power is real. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more powerful insights. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos that are designed to elevate your life. Stay blessed and keep shining. Why chosen ones are struggling financially. Spiritual wisdom. Many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. Have you ever felt like, despite your faith, your hard work, and your heart for serving others, financial struggles just won't let go? Why do those who are chosen by God often face such hardships, while others seem to prosper effortlessly? Is this a test, a lesson, or something much greater? In today's video, we're diving deep into the spiritual wisdom behind financial struggles and why they often come upon God's chosen ones. This truth will challenge the way you see your situation and may just unlock a new perspective on your journey. Stay with me, and let's explore God's divine purpose together. 1. Financial lack is not always a sign of God's absence. Many of the chosen ones find themselves asking, if I'm walking in my purpose, why am I struggling financially? The world teaches us that prosperity is the sign of favor, but spiritual awakening reveals a deeper truth. Financial lack is not always a sign of God's absence. In fact, it can be a tool in His sovereign hand, molding you into the person He has called you to be. I know this isn't easy to hear, especially when bills are stacking up. Opportunities seem distant, and you feel like the world has overlooked you. But let me remind you, God does not use lack to destroy you. He uses it to develop you. The struggle you're facing is not meant to break you. It's meant to build something within you that abundance never could. When everything is taken away, what remains? Faith, dependence, spiritual growth. You are being refined like gold in the fire, and that process is never comfortable. Think about Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. He could have questioned why God allowed such hardships, but every setback was a setup for something greater. God was shaping his character, stretching his faith, and preparing him for a position of influence that would have been impossible had he not first walked through the valley of lack. Likewise, your financial struggle is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is a season where God is strengthening your foundation. Many chosen ones wonder, why would a loving God allow financial struggle? But consider this: money is a tool, not the source. True provision comes from God, not a paycheck. Sometimes He allows seasons of scarcity to break our reliance on material wealth and deepen our trust in Him. When you have nothing left but faith, that's when you truly understand where your help comes from. This world is obsessed with financial success. measuring worth by bank balances and possessions. But God operates on a different system. Spiritual abundance outweighs material wealth every time, and those who are truly chosen often experience financial hardship as part of their training. Jesus himself, the King of Kings, did not live in luxury. He had no earthly riches, yet he carried the greatest treasure, wisdom, power, and an unshakable connection to the Father. That same connection is what God is developing in you. When you feel the weight of financial strain, ask yourself, what is God teaching me in this season? Perhaps it's patience, resilience, a deeper understanding of stewardship, or even a call to shift your perspective on what true wealth really is. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to compare yourself to others, scrolling through social media and seeing people flaunt their wealth while you wonder why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. But remember, God's timeline is not dictated by human standards. Your spiritual awakening is a journey, and financial struggle is often a part of it. He's teaching you how to steward blessings before they come, ensuring that when financial increase arrives, your heart remains in the right place. Look at the great men of faith. Many endured hardship before stepping into their calling. King David was anointed long before he was appointed. He spent years running from Saul, living in caves, and experiencing lack before he sat on the throne. God does not rush the process, and your season of struggle has a divine purpose. Instead of asking, "Why am I broke?" start asking, "What is God preparing me for?" Wealth that comes too soon, without the spiritual maturity to handle it, can become a curse rather than a blessing. Your financial challenges are shaping you into someone who will one day handle abundance with wisdom, generosity, and humility. So, take heart. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. If you are struggling financially right now, don't let discouragement take root. See this as a time of preparation. God is strengthening your faith, refining your character, and positioning you for something greater. Be faithful, continue to seek Him, and remember that just because you lack money doesn't mean you lack purpose. The chosen ones walk a different path, and sometimes that means going through trials before stepping into the promise. Be persistent, because what God has for you is worth the wait. If you are determined, comment below, "I am persistent in this journey," and let's continue together. 2. Spiritual warfare and attacks by the enemy. Let's talk about spiritual warfare and financial struggles. Some of you are not struggling because of bad decisions, laziness, or a lack of effort. No, your financial hardship is not a reflection of your worth or work ethic. It's a battle being fought in the spiritual realm. The enemy knows exactly who you are in the kingdom of God, and he recognizes the power you carry. If you had financial freedom, you wouldn't just accumulate wealth for yourself. You would sow into God's kingdom, break generational cycles of poverty, and be a blessing to others. That's why the enemy fights so hard to keep you in check, throwing obstacles in your path, making opportunities disappear, and keeping you feeling stuck. But hear me clearly. This is not a sign that you are forgotten or forsaken. It is evidence that you are a threat. Your struggle is proof of your significance. If you were insignificant, the enemy wouldn't bother with you. But because you carry a divine purpose, because your wealth would serve a greater mission, spiritual resistance has come against you. Ephesians 6:12 tells us plainly, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." Your financial battle isn't just natural, it's spiritual. And when you understand that, you begin to fight differently. You stop relying solely on human strategies and start engaging in spiritual warfare. You start declaring God's promises over your life, standing firm in faith, and refusing to be moved by temporary circumstances. The enemy may try to block your blessings, but he cannot stop what God has already ordained for you. Just look at how many successful people in the Bible faced financial hardship before stepping into abundance. Joseph was sold into slavery before managing Egypt's wealth. Job lost everything before receiving double, and the Israelites wandered in the wilderness before entering the promised land. Their struggles were not the end of their story, and neither is yours. Think about a modern example. An entrepreneur who dreams of building a business that funds ministries, helps the needy, and supports their family. Every time they get close to breakthrough, another setback comes. A deal falls through. An unexpected expense arises. Or they face rejection after rejection. From a worldly perspective, they might think they're just unlucky. But from a spiritual perspective, it's clear. The enemy is terrified of what will happen when they walk in financial freedom. And that's exactly why they must persevere. The lesson here? Your struggle is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. It's sharpening your faith, teaching you endurance, and preparing you for the abundance God has for you. So what can you do? First, recognize that this is a spiritual battle. Pray, fast, and declare God's word over your finances. Second, don't let frustration make you give up. Your persistence is part of your breakthrough. Third, remain faithful with what you have. Steward your resources wisely. Give even when it feels small, and trust that God is working behind the scenes. Finally, shift your mindset. Stop seeing financial struggle as a punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Because when God blesses you, it won't just be for you. It will be for generations, for the kingdom, and for His glory. Keep pressing forward. Choose one. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, it will be undeniable that God was with you all along. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who might need these great values. Let's continue this conversation and go deeper into what these values really mean. 3. God is testing your heart for integrity. Have you ever wondered why, despite your faithfulness, financial difficulties seem to haunt you? If you are a chosen person walking in God's purpose, your financial difficulties may not be a punishment, but a divine test of the integrity of your heart. Money is one of the greatest revealers of character, exposing where our motives, desires, and true loyalties lie. Are you seeking God's will, or are you pursuing wealth? Do you trust Him as your provider, or is your heart secretly serving money? Jesus Himself made it clear in Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. This verse is not just about choosing between good and evil, but also about the condition of your heart when faced with material challenges. In His infinite wisdom, God sometimes withholds financial prosperity to refine you, to remove pride, conceit, and any hidden greed that may be lurking within you. He is not just blessing you, He is preparing you to handle the blessing. If wealth comes too soon, will it bring you closer to Him or further away from Him? Will you use it as a tool to serve others and expand His kingdom, or will it become an idol that distracts you from your divine calling? Consider the story of Job, who lost everything, yet his faith remained unshaken. In the end, God restored him to double what he had before, not because Job pursued wealth, but because his heart remained pure. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Job chapter 1, verse 21. Likewise, your financial hardships are not meant to break you down, but to build you up. It is in these moments that God watches how you handle scarcity, knowing that your response to scarcity is an indication of how you will handle abundance. Will you complain, doubt, and compromise your values, or will you trust in His perfect timing? Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6 remind us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he shall make straight your paths." What if your financial hardships were a divine arrangement to elevate you spiritually before he elevated you materially? What if he is teaching you how to manage your resources wisely, so that when he blesses you, your heart remains humble and your hands remain open to give? Ask yourself this: if God gave you everything you wanted right now, would you still seek him with the same fervor? Would you still pray with the same desperation? Would you still walk in obedience, or would financial security make you complacent? This is why God allows his chosen ones to go through seasons of struggle, not as rejection, but as preparation. Remember, for the Lord disciplines the one he loves, as a father disciplines the son in whom he delights. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 12. So instead of viewing your financial struggles as a curse, view them as a refining fire, cleansing your heart and aligning your motives with God's will. Be faithful, because when the time comes, he will open the gates of heaven and pour down a blessing so great that you will have no room to receive it. Are you up to the challenge? If you believe you can, comment below, "I definitely will," as your affirmation on this journey. 4. You are in a season of preparation for greater things. Struggling financially, feeling like you're constantly pushing forward but never quite breaking through? Listen closely. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a season of preparation. When God chooses someone for a greater purpose, he refines them through trials, just as fire purifies gold. This is why so many chosen ones face financial struggles, not because they are forgotten, but because they are being prepared. Think about David before he wore the crown. He was tending sheep in isolation. Before Joseph ruled in Egypt, he endured betrayal, slavery, and prison. Their hardships were not punishment, they were training grounds. Likewise, your current struggles are shaping you into a vessel strong enough to carry the blessings and responsibilities God has destined for you. Do not despise this season of lack. It is in this very place that your faith is being stretched, your spiritual awakening is deepening, and your endurance is being forged. Romans chapter 5 verses 3 to 4 reminds us, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope." Right now, you are being positioned for something far greater than you can see. This isn't just about money, it's about spiritual insight, discipline, and trust in God's timing. If blessings came without preparation, they would be wasted or misused. Many people who receive wealth without wisdom end up losing it, but those who have been refined through trials become stewards of abundance, knowing that their prosperity is not just for themselves, but for a greater purpose. Your struggle is molding you, teaching you, and building you into the person who can handle the next level of blessings without being consumed by them. In today's fast-paced world, where people chase instant gratification, remember that true, lasting success, both financial and spiritual, comes through endurance and alignment with God's plan. So instead of asking, "Why am I struggling?" start asking, "What is God teaching me in this season?" Let this time refine your character, strengthen your faith, and prepare you for the doors that will open in due time. Because when the season shifts, and it will, you won't just receive blessings, you'll be ready to sustain them. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What is your perspective on the importance of this value? Share your insights, and let's continue this conversation. 5. God wants you to rely on him, not material wealth. Beloved, understand this. God desires your dependence on him, not on material wealth. The world constantly preaches that financial abundance equals security, success, and happiness, but as a chosen one, your journey is different. Have you ever wondered why, despite your faithfulness, you sometimes struggle financially? It's because God is teaching you a deeper truth. Your provision does not come from money, but from Him alone. Remember the Israelites wandering in the wilderness? They had no wealth, no stored riches, yet they never lacked because God provided manna from heaven daily. As Deuteronomy 8:3 says, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." That same principle applies to you today. The financial struggles you face are not punishments. They are divine lessons meant to detach you from the illusion that money is your source and to root you in the truth that God is your provider. Think about it. How often do people forget God when they're comfortable, when their bank accounts are full and their needs are effortlessly met? They slowly shift their trust from God to wealth, believing that as long as they have money, they are secure. But what happens when money fails? What happens when the stock market crashes, jobs disappear, or unexpected crises drain bank accounts? Those who built their trust in money are left shaken, but those who have learned to rely on God remain unshaken. You, chosen one, are in a season where God is training you to trust Him above all. This is not just about enduring financial hardship. It's about spiritual growth, about breaking the grip of materialism so that your faith stands firm, unshaken by economic circumstances. Let me share a story with you. There was a man named David, a hard-working father of 3, who always prided himself on providing for his family. He had built a successful business, and life was good until an economic downturn wiped out everything. In a matter of months, he went from financial security to struggling to put food on the table. Desperate, he cried out to God, not understanding why this was happening. But in his brokenness, he began to experience something new: true dependence on God. He prayed like never before, sought God's wisdom in every decision, and for the first time, felt peace that wasn't tied to his bank account. Little by little, doors began to open, not in ways he expected, but in ways that strengthened his faith. He realized that before the loss, he had unknowingly placed his trust in money, but through the struggle, he learned to rely fully on God. And now, he has more than just financial stability. He has an unshakable faith that no economic downturn can take away. So ask yourself, are you depending on wealth or are you depending on God? If your financial situation feels unstable, could it be that God is calling you to deeper trust in Him? Chosen ones are not meant to live by the world's standards. You are called to a higher walk, one where faith, not money, is your foundation. Psalm 50:10 reminds us that God owns cattle on 1,000 hills. He lacks nothing, and neither will you if you put your trust in Him. So, instead of fearing lack, embrace this season as an opportunity to grow spiritually. Let it refine you, shape you, and deepen your relationship with your true source, Jehovah Jireh, your provider. What is God teaching you in this season of financial struggle? How is He calling you to trust Him more? Seek Him, and you will find that when you have God, you truly have everything. And if you feel inspired by this message, type "I trust the process" as a way to affirm your strength, patience, and commitment to growth. Let's grow together. 6. A divine redirection of your focus. Beloved, have you ever considered that your financial struggles might not be a punishment, but rather a divine redirection? Sometimes God withholds financial abundance not to harm you, but to shift your focus from temporary, worldly pursuits to the eternal purpose He has for you. Understanding this true success in the kingdom of God is not measured by the size of your bank account, but by the depth of your spiritual alignment with His will. When money flows effortlessly, it's easy to become entangled in material ambitions, chasing success, comfort, and security in wealth. But when financial hardships arise, they force you to pause, to reflect, and to seek God with a renewed intensity. Proverbs 16:9 reminds us, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Could it be that your financial struggles are God's way of steering you away from the distractions of worldly success and into His divine purpose for your life? Think about it when the money is abundant. How often do we truly seek God for guidance? But when the flow stops, suddenly our prayers become more fervent, our dependence on Him more profound. This is no accident. God is drawing your attention away from fleeting material wealth and turning your heart toward eternal treasures. Colossians 3:2 instructs us, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." Perhaps He is calling you to something greater, something that requires your full trust in Him rather than in your financial status. In the stillness of financial struggle, God speaks, revealing a purpose that goes beyond money. Could it be that He is leading you into a ministry, a mission, or a service that will impact souls for eternity? Take a moment to reflect. What if your financial limitations are actually a setup for spiritual elevation? What if God is using this season to refine your faith, to test your trust, and to mold you into someone who walks by faith, not by sight? Remember, even Jesus, the Son of God, lived a life that was not defined by material wealth, but by divine purpose. He had no place to lay his head, yet he carried the richest wisdom, the greatest power, and the most profound peace. Are you willing to trust God enough to surrender your financial worries and embrace His higher calling? Spiritual wisdom teaches us that God's provision is not always financial. It is divine guidance, supernatural peace, and eternal rewards. When you shift your focus from what you lack to the purpose God is revealing, you begin to see your struggles not as setbacks, but as stepping stones towards something far greater. So I ask you today, what is God speaking to you in this season? Are you listening? Are you willing to trust that His ways are higher, His thoughts are greater, and His plan for you is beyond what money could ever buy? Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Hold on to that truth, beloved, because in God's hands, even your financial struggle is part of His divine masterpiece. If you find these prayers helpful, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's keep together. 7. God wants to protect you from the dangers of wealth. There is a deep spiritual reason why many of God's chosen ones face financial struggles, and it is not because they are forsaken, it is because they are being protected. Proverbs 16 verse 18 warns us, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." The truth is, wealth is a powerful force, but it is also a dangerous one. It has a way of creeping into the heart, whispering illusions of self-sufficiency, tempting even the strongest believers to trust in riches rather than in the one who provides. God, in His infinite wisdom, sees beyond what we can comprehend. He knows that financial abundance, if given prematurely, can lead a person down a path of pride, greed, and spiritual blindness. Many of you may feel frustrated by financial lack, questioning why your prayers for abundance seem unanswered. But what if your struggle is not a punishment, but a form of divine protection? What if your current season of lack is a hedge placed around you to guard your soul? Wealth, when placed in the hands of the unprepared, becomes a trap. It convinces people that they no longer need God, that they can rely on their own strength, and that their success is entirely self-made. This is why so many who acquire riches without spiritual grounding end up losing their way, consumed by materialism and an insatiable hunger for more. God knows how money can become an idol, silently replacing him in the hearts of those who chase after it. Jesus himself issued a stern warning in Matthew 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and money. It is not that God does not want you to prosper, he does. But he also knows that true prosperity is not found in bank accounts or business success. It is found in a heart that remains anchored in him, no matter the circumstances. So, if you are struggling financially despite your faithfulness, consider this: God is saying, not yet. He is molding you, strengthening your spirit, and teaching you how to handle the weight of wealth without allowing it to handle you. Spiritual awakening often comes through seasons of lack, because it is in those moments that we learn true dependence on God. Think about the Israelites in the wilderness. God could have provided them with an abundance of resources all at once, but instead, he chose to give them manna daily. Why? Because he wanted them to trust him, to rely on him as their provider, rather than hoarding wealth and forgetting him. In the same way, your financial struggle might be the very thing keeping you close to God. It may be what ensures that when he does bless you with more, you will not forget where it came from. Modern society glorifies wealth, making it seem like the ultimate proof of success. But as followers of Christ, we are called to a different standard. God wants you to be financially blessed, but not at the cost of your soul. So instead of asking, "Why am I struggling?" ask, "What is God teaching me?" Because when your spirit is strong enough to carry wealth without it corrupting you, God will open the floodgates of his provision in ways you never imagined. Until then, trust that he is not withholding blessings, he is preparing you for them. Declare today by commenting below, "God is with me," and let that truth sink into your heart. Share this message with someone who might need it, because encouragement multiplies when spoken. 8. To build empathy and compassion for others. Chosen one, I want to remind you that your financial struggles are not just random hardships. They serve a divine purpose in shaping your heart, strengthening your spirit, and deepening your spiritual growth. God allows certain seasons of lack, not to punish you, but to refine you, to build in you a heart of empathy and compassion that mirrors his own. As 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, God comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. When you experience the weight of financial hardship, the stress of unpaid bills, the uncertainty of making ends meet, the silent prayers whispered in the night, you develop an understanding that cannot be taught in a classroom or found in a book. You learn firsthand what it feels like to walk in the shoes of those who struggle daily, and this knowledge becomes a powerful tool in God's hands. Think about someone who has been through a difficult season and came out stronger. Maybe you know a person who once faced severe financial hardship, but later became a source of help and encouragement to others. Perhaps they started a foundation to assist families in need, or simply became someone who generously gave even when they had little. Their past struggle wasn't in vain. It shaped them into a vessel of God's provision and love. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. She grew up in poverty, but instead of letting that define her future, she used her experiences to build platforms that uplift and empower others. What if your struggles are doing the same for you? What if God is allowing this season not to break you, but to mold you into someone who will one day be an answer to someone else's prayer? It's easy to question why God would allow financial hardship when you are striving to live a righteous life. But what if this struggle is actually part of his divine training ground? When you have known lack, you will never take abundance for granted. When you have felt hunger, you will always have a heart to feed others. When you have been in need, you will recognize the needs of those around you. Instead of becoming self-absorbed with wealth, you will be a steward of God's blessings, using them to uplift, support, and encourage those still facing their own trials. This is how God shapes his chosen ones, not by making life easy, but by allowing them to walk through seasons that refine their hearts and expand their capacity for love and generosity. So, instead of despising this season, ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me? How can I use my experiences to help someone else? How is this struggle shaping my character and preparing me for the blessings ahead? These are not just hardships. They are lessons, molding you into someone who will carry the weight of God's blessings with wisdom and selflessness. Know that your story is still being written, and every chapter of struggle is preparing you for a future where you will not only be blessed, but will also be a blessing to others. Keep the faith, for in due time, God will turn your season of lack into a testimony of his provision and faithfulness. If this message speaks to you, take it a step further and share it with someone who might need this reminder. Together, we can build connections rooted in honesty and respect. 9. You are not mature enough to handle wealth yet. Let's be honest, one of the reasons many chosen ones are struggling financially is that they are not yet spiritually mature enough to handle wealth the way God intends. Spiritual wisdom teaches us that God's blessings are not just about material wealth, they are about responsibility, character, and purpose. Maturity in the Spirit always comes before the release of abundance, because without it, blessings can turn into burdens. Consider the story of the prodigal son in Luke 15:11-32. He received his inheritance before he was ready, and what happened? He squandered everything in reckless living, ending up in desperation and poverty. His downfall wasn't due to a lack of resources, but a lack of wisdom. In the same way, God may be withholding financial abundance from you, not as a punishment, but as a form of divine protection and preparation. He is cultivating patience, humility, and a heart of stewardship within you. Think about it. What would happen if you received a financial windfall today? Would you use it to fulfill God's purpose in your life? Or would it lead you away from your calling? John D. Rockefeller once said, "The secret to success is to do the common things uncommonly well." God is teaching you how to manage what you have now, so that when greater blessings come, you won't just spend them, you will multiply them and use them for His kingdom. True wealth is not about hoarding money. It's about using it as a tool to serve and uplift others. Many people believe that if they just had more money, all their problems would disappear. But the truth is, money only amplifies who you already are. If you are unwise with a little, you will be reckless with a lot. That's why this season of financial struggle is a test. It is shaping your heart, your habits, and your mindset. Proverbs 3:9-10 reminds us, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty." God is watching to see how you handle the little before He entrusts you with much. Are you being faithful with what you have now? Are you tithing? Are you practicing generosity even in your struggle? These are the lessons that prepare you for abundance. So instead of asking, "Why am I struggling financially?" ask, "What is God trying to teach me through this struggle?" Could it be that He is refining you so that when wealth does come, it won't corrupt you, but instead, it will elevate you and those around you? Delayed blessings are not denied blessings. They are simply waiting for you to become the person who can handle them with wisdom and purpose. Are you ready for that responsibility? As we wrap up, remember this. You are not financially struggling. You are being spiritually strengthened. God is using this season to shape your faith, refine your heart, and prepare you for a greater purpose. Trust His process, knowing that He is working all things for your good. When the time is right, you will step into financial abundance, not just for yourself, but to fulfill His divine calling. How has this message spoken to you today? Share your thoughts in the comments, And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more spiritual wisdom. Stay strong, stay faithful, and keep walking in God's purpose.